gas, because it's got potential to give us fuel stability for at least some time. But we need proper planning guidance specific to shale gas extraction, and particularly fracking, I would say. If I had to pick one of the three forms, that's the one that's giving us the most concern. Because while there is evidence that perhaps it is safe, and Cameron might be right in one way, I think there's also other evidence that leads, certainly me, to be less certain about the position on that. The one thing I would mention, and I don't know if it'll help really, but bearing in mind there is a demonstration on this tomorrow, is sometimes the language used, and the Prime Minister said that he believes this is safe, but it has made his life more confusing to try and establish what the genuine arguments against safety are, if the language sometimes gets overheated and over-exaggerated. And I'm certainly not saying that was what we've heard tonight, but I mean, we've seen news reports, haven't we, where we've had objectors stating things in very bold terms which might not actually be bold.
I think, to be fair, Boris Johnson is also in the vanguard of this too.
Oh right, okay, well that's good for him, isn't it? Fortunately, I don't have to talk about Boris Johnson because he's not an assembly member.
It works both ways.
Oh yeah, well, I completely agree. Boris is a bit of a hoot, isn't he? Anyway, so in terms of planning, I think that it really is something that we could do in Wales. And that would change us, and for that we need time, which is where I'm coming to. For that, you need time to test the technology, and you need time to test existing evidence, and we need time to get these new planning guidance into onto the books, if you like. That is where the Welsh Conservatives are coming from. So there is a difference in the UK and Wales on this. The slightly disappointing aspect of this, of course, and I think Gareth mentioned it, is we're not necessarily pushing at an open door here when it comes to the Welsh Government, who are just saying, oh, your planning guidance is fine already. Well, we wouldn't keep raising it if it were a sort of QED sort of response to that. Just personally, because I am a local representative, there are two other things I wanted to mention, and Gareth sort of mentioned it as well. South Wales West, which covers basically Pencoed down as far as the Loughor Estuary, has been providing energy for the UK for centuries, I would say, and not necessarily seeing the sustainable benefits of that. If any of these extraction models come to our area, we've got to make sure that the community benefit means community benefit. And my experience so far with wind farm developments and their protocols on community benefit doesn't give me much hope. That would really necessarily get very much. But I have asked in the chamber that actually South Wales West, this general area, really has done its bit in terms of fossil fuel energy production. And if the Welsh Government is minded to allow things to proceed as they are, is that, well, not necessarily that they do a sort of equivalent to TANEC, but are they just going to allow random applications everywhere, or are they going to try and identify parts of Wales where they want to concentrate their efforts? Personally, I'd rather it wasn't happening at all. The second point, and I suspect it might be slightly unpopular with some of you, who already perhaps know about my, shall we say, reticence to support industrial scale wind energy, is that I'm just very worried that the focus and concentration on this issue of gas, shale gas extraction, will take the eye off the ball when it comes to investing and research into other forms of renewable energy. My big complaint about wind energy is the scale in which it's happening in Wales, is that 93% under TANEX of our renewable energy must come from wind, only 7% from other sources. I don't like that balance. I think we're missing a trick. And I'm just a bit concerned that all that will just carry on, that wind farm proliferation will happen because we've taken our eye off the ball and we're looking at this instead. I mean, it would be lovely to have a 100% renewable energy source for the UK. That is a long time away. That's why we can't just completely ignore the fact that this shale gas exists. What we've got to do is be really cautious about how we deal with it and not just see it as some sort of silver bullet. And secondly, to make sure that it doesn't become a blind which distracts us from what might be happening on renewable energy development as well, because I think that would be a real shame. So that's it, I think. Thank you.